Hello, I'll be doing some explanations for a few of the problems on the extra solving equations practice that I posted for 8th grade. Okay, so let's start with number 7. In this equation, there are two sides like every equation. On this side, you have x divided by 3 minus 2, and on this side, we have 6. So we want to solve for x, which is right here. It's attached to the 3 by division, so we're going to end up multiplying at some point, but we first have to get rid of this negative 2. So here's my variable, and I have a constant on this side of the equal sign and another constant on the other. So what I want is to get this constant with the other constant. Since it's a negative 2, I'm going to add 2 on both sides. That gives me 0 on the left. I still have my x over 3. And on the right hand side, I have 6 plus 2, which gives me 8. At this point, because the x is being divided by 3, that's division right now, I want to do the opposite, which is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides of the equal sign. So these 3's will cancel out or equal 1 because 3 divided by 3 equals 1. 1x is just x. And then we have 8 multiplied by 3 on this other side, which would give us 24. So x is equal to 24 on that problem. Looking down at number 10, this one has variables on both sides and constants on both sides. So I'm just going to box my variables and circle my constants. I want to start with the variables so that I am less confused. 7 is bigger than negative 4, so what I want to do is I want to move this negative 4 over so that it's with the other variable on the other side of the equal sign. So because it's a negative 4, to move it, I need to add 4. And I'm going to add the whole term, so plus 4d on that side of the equal sign and plus 4d on the other side of the equal sign. Negative 4 plus 4 gives me 0 on that side. I still have negative 37. On the right hand side, I have 7 plus 4, which would give me 11d. And then I have a plus 18. Okay, so I have all my variables on the right hand side, which means now I just need to get these constants together on the left hand side. Because it's a positive 18, I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. This gives me 0 over here. And what I have here, negative 37 minus 18 will give me negative 55. And I still have 11d on the right-hand side. At this point, this says 11 multiplied by d. So because it's multiplication, to undo, I do the opposite, which is division. So I'm going to divide by 11 on both sides so that now I just have a 1d, which is the same thing as d. On the left-hand side, I have negative 5. And this would be my answer. D is equal to negative 5. Number 11 has parentheses. So on number 11, we're going to have to get rid of those parentheses first. Notice there's a minus sign and then parentheses. When you see a minus sign and then parentheses, that means that we're distributing this negative sign to everything inside the parentheses. So I like to write a positive 1 or a negative 1 right there. Because when you distribute a negative, that's the same thing as multiplying by negative 1. I'm not doing anything to the 3 just yet, so I'm just going to ignore it and bring it down. And then I'm multiplying negative 1 by x, which gives me a negative 1x. And then I'm multiplying negative 1 by negative 2. So if I have negative 1 multiplied by negative 2, I would get a positive 2. And on the right-hand side, I still have x plus 1. At this point, I have a 3 and a 2 on the left-hand side, so I can just go ahead and add those together. So I'm left with negative 1x plus 5 equals x plus 1. I have a variable here and a variable here, so I want to put them together. 1x is bigger than negative 1x, so I'm going to add 1x to both sides. Negative 1x plus 1x gives me 0. And I have 5 equals 1x plus 1x is 2x plus 1. At this point, I'm subtracting 1 to get the constants together. That gives me 0 there. I have 4 on the left-hand side, and I have 2x on the right-hand side. So my last step, I'm dividing to cancel out the multiplication right here. So I've got 2 equals x, or x equals 2. Number 12 is similar to the previous one, except it has one less step. So when we have parentheses, we're going to go ahead and do that first because we have to multiply the 2 by everything inside the parentheses. So I'm going to multiply 2 by x to get 2x, and 2 by 8 to get 16. Now it's just a regular variable on both side problem, except in this case, I have a 2x and a 2x on both sides. So if I subtract 2x on both sides, what I'm going to get is 0 on both sides. So I have 16 equals 7. Does 16 ever equal 7? No, it never equals 7. So what we would say in this case is that this equation has no solution. So my answer would actually be no solution because there's no number that I can put in for x to have these two equations be equal to each other, because 16 will never equal 7. So no solution would be my answer on that one. And then the last one that I'm going to do is number 15. Here we have parentheses again, so we have to do that first. We're multiplying the 5 by 3c, so we get 15c, and 5 by negative 2, so we get negative 10. Bring down your plus 8, and that's equal to 43. Here again, we've got a constant and another constant on the same side of the equal sign. So I can add those together. If I have negative 10 plus 8, I get negative 2. I still have 15c, and on the right-hand side, I still have 43. So all of my constants are over here already, but I have all of my variables are over here already, but I have 2 constants that need to be put together. I'm going to move this negative 2 to the other side, and I do that by adding 2 to both sides. Negative 2 plus 2 gives me 0. 43 plus 2 on the right-hand side gives me 45. And my 15c comes with me. Okay, this says 15 multiplied by c. So I'm going to divide because that's the opposite, and I use my inverse operations or my opposites. 45 divided by 15 will give me 3. And so I'm finished.